going in as of right now, and it's an old 1800 building. Oh wow!
119 years ago. Remember, stay on the red carpet as much as you can. The floors are the original floors. They're oak parquet, and you'll notice as you go through the house downstairs, they're fancy and they're different in every room. Because Flora just had the best time ordering them out of catalogs. She ordered the interior parts of the house, the wood and the staircase off the catalog, and then had it sent here. The Montgomery Board Company did the staircase. Our wallpapers are copies of what was originally here, reproductions of the original. We ask you not to touch what's on the wall, but we have some samples. Roland was born in Virginia. He joined the Army in 1876 and was stationed here. He was a surgeon. He was a doctor. He was also a politician. And he was the mayor when they built this house, the mayor of Phoenix. They had 5 children that they were raising. The house was a family home until 1948 when it became a rooming house and cut up into apartments. This is Flora, Mrs. Rosson. She was the one that owned the property. She bought it from her sister. They lived for 14 years in an adobe house before they built this house. See how our floor changed from the other room, from the hallway? Our ceilings are different colors throughout the house, and the rooms are fancier than the hallway ceilings. We have all the rosettes and the medallions from one place to another. This is called a cooling table for cooling down a body before embalming. These and our Touch Me basket. Remember, whenever you see a basket like this, you can pick it up and take things out and look at it. Those are called post-mortem photographs. They're photographs of dead people. Whales. Babies, it was tough being a kid back then. If you got any kind of disease, it pretty much did you in. Early childhood was hard. So
You know why they did that?
the photographs, well, photography was a brand new thing. I mean, could you take your iPhone and not take a picture of it?
Going upstairs right now. Look
We'll get there, I promise.
ceilings are nice.
Well, that the transom windows above the doors are clear rather than that beautiful ruby red color that you probably saw over the parlor and the dining area. But this has been decorated as the sewing area, and that's because Jessie Jean Higley, who was alive during the restoration, when she was interviewed, she said she remembers her mother sewing in this area. And it does make for a great area for the lady of the house to do artwork or what they call fancy work. Here is an example of fancy work, and believe it or not, this is actually made of human hair. It was quite common to use human hair to do all sorts of jewelry and artwork. And it was even better if you were friends with a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead, because then you could trade hair color, and people would do that quite often so they could add a lot of color and slash to their artwork. Now the memorial wreath that you see here, you'll see those little rosebuds are of are human hair, and we believe it is of the deceased in the photograph. But what the ladies would do is they would brush their hair, and then you'll note that there was an electric doorbell. Dr. Rosson had an electric doorbell installed, and there's a switch downstairs that enables it to either bring upstairs here or downstairs, so not to disturb the family. And then just take a look around, and then as you're ready, you can go ahead and move on to the nursery. And as you pass, certainly take your time, take a look at the nursery, but as you pass, you'll get a good look at the closet. And what we take for granted these days, people did not have closets. They couldn't really spare the space, and they didn't really use closets the way we use closets today. Even the finest of ladies might only have 3 or 4 outfits for the whole year. And then as you're passing the closet, note that there's not a rod that goes from wall to wall. We had a really interesting discussion a few weeks ago at our volunteer educational seminar. Someone had asked, was the clothes hanger even invented when the Rossons had built this house? And the answer is yes. It was a little odd looking compared to what we use today, but certainly wasn't commonly used. But they actually did sell them in a Sears catalog. And please take your time, and then whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and move on to the fancy closet.
Wow.
Yeah, good. Please come on in, right on up to the front. Come on, ladies. Well, you're going to have a good time in this room. You know, like this. Come on up and stand right up here a little bit so we get everybody in. There's still more coming, right? Okay. Is this it? Big room? Okay. This was the girls' bedroom. And it's pretty nice. It's on the north side of the house. And it's got its own fireplace and an exit out to the balcony, a closet and a sink. And it was nice to have an exit out to the balcony because if it got too hot, you could grab up your mattress, put it outside, put your sheets over it in a tent-like fashion, and wet them down. And then when the breeze blew, you had an evaporative cooler effect. But the Rossons had 4 daughters, and they probably all slept in this room. So sleeping 2 and 3 to a bed was very common back then. Are the 3 of you sisters related in any way? Yeah? All right, so check this out. 2 of you having the pillows, sleeping up there, and another one have a pillow, but your head would be down here. So now you get to chew on somebody's feet all night. Do you like toes? Toes are good at night. They're kind of fun. Yeah. Same thing for the guys. Now upstairs from here is an attic. It's as big as this floor. It's 1,400 square feet of big open space. But they didn't have a whole lot of need for storage back then, so they used it as the party room. So imagine having the band upstairs and some of your friends, right? Would have been a nice place to get together. Every family that lived here had daughters, and they all liked to do the same thing, and they all went to school together, so I assume that the Rossons told the Goldbergs what they did and told the Higleys and passed it on. Balcony, it doesn't have a sink, right? But it's a nice little room. Now, it was not popular to have a live-in maid back then.
Take a look at the corner, you'll note that they do have hot and cold running water, and then on the wall with the door, you'll see that they
On the
have
staircase, there's a picture of what the attic looks like.
Oh, that's really big, actually.
So what do you think that thing is on the wall? You don't know? What do you guess?
I said telecom.
It's the intercom. It
Oh,
just
yeah,
has a
something
little
like
pipe in the wall that goes down to the first floor.
Cool.
Sir, do you ever go to the park and you see tubes that you can talk through?
Very
No? Well,
interesting.
they have them around, and that.
Very cool. Yeah, little stove.
Unless you're standing right in front of it, where you can't everything out of it, so it's just as easy to go downstairs and go, hey, go to the intercom. Then you can talk. Well,
Wow,
the roof is
that's
steel,
amazing.
So it's very hot upstairs. It's pretty dusty.
Wow.
Hold on to the railroad.
So off the carpet is okay, and then you're going to pass these around. See if you guys can guess what they're for. All right, and I am going to have a quick seat.
Clean out your ear.
What do you guys think those are for? What do you guys think those are for?
Let's see if clean out your ear. Is it cleaning out your ear?
Cleaning out your, I wish it was for cleaning out your ear. All right. Yeah, so she's got it. It's a heart monitor. That's actually for a fetal heart monitor. So I'm pregnant, so what you would do is you would put this on here and you would hear the babies, right? I don't think they work that well. My doctor doesn't use these anymore. But that's what they're for. It's called a fetal heart monitor. This creepy thing right here is called a curette. All right, we've got a bigger one here on the table, which is why we have the little one. Anybody else want to guess what it's for? I heard an ear.
No, that's weird.
All right, I wish it was for a nose. So these can be used in several different ways. The one we're going to talk about in here is for impacted stool. So if you constipated and you couldn't go poop, they put this up your butt and they turn it and they would pull your poop out with this. So that's a good way to use it for. And you all just touched it, right? Right. Thank you so much. It's been disinfected. You're all right. We got a couple other cool things in this room. So these right here are called ether masks. And what this one's got cotton on it. They put that on your face. They put either ether or chloroform on it. That's what puts you to sleep. My grandma was born in the 1930s. She had her tonsils taken out. They used those. And she said you would wake up and then they put you back out. So that's kind of how they work. We are very lucky to live when we do. Any other questions for me in this room? We've got a lot of weird stuff.
You have twins?
I do have twins, yeah. They're fraternal, we think. How about you? And it's kind of loud now because of the concert, so I'm going to do my best to talk up. If you're short, come on up to the front. Just push people out of the way, it's okay. Short. All right, so this room's kind of dark. What's going on in this room? Why do I have my fan plugged into my light? Anybody want to guess?
Because there's no outlets.
Thank you. The house is built without outlets, yeah. So they put in electricity, but they didn't put in outlets. They weren't thinking, right? They just didn't have a lot of appliances at the time. So when fans like this come out, or in the kitchen when a toaster comes out, this is how they plug them in. It's a very different system from what we use today. So today we try to hide our cords, right? I just bought a new entertainment center. It's got holes in the back to put my cords. Trying to hide my cords. Here they're trying to show their cords off, or just this is just the way it works. So what would happen is your neighbors would walk by, they'd be like, hey, the Rossons just got new appliances. I think that's a fan. That's pretty cool. They're trying to show it off, right? Whereas today we're trying to hide it. So those are two different ways that we use electricity, right? We're trying to hide our stuff, whereas they're trying to show it off. We've got one other really cool piece in this room. It's called a phonograph over there with the cone. So that phonograph plays these. Parents, this is the precursor to the record. They spin like this. It wouldn't be so bumpy, but spin like this. This one is smooth. If it was recorded on, it would have grooves on it. I'm gonna pass it around. So records are the same thing, they're just flat, right? They just spin in a slightly different way. There's no sound control on that phonograph. So it's sold with that cone like that. That small cone is for a room of this size. The big cone right there is a party cone. So if you wanted all of your sound to go throughout the entire house, that's what you would use. And then that model's actually sold with these as well. So we're gonna have a model.
It has something to do with electricity, I bet. Don't touch it in case it sparks. We burn it down.
This house here. Was it right here?
All right, so sorry
I
about
built
that.
it here 100 years ago.
Hello, come on in. Spread out. You can step on the floor. It's okay. Hello.
Hi.
Are you the last in your line?
Yes, I am.
My name is Stan. This is the last room in the house. You all look great. Very small, very tight kitchen. We're not really sure why the kitchen is so small. Very often in the olden days, they had two kitchens. They had one outside because it would get so hot. This is not the original stove. It is, their stove was a Monarch. This is a small Monarch. Theirs was a much larger one. It has a side compartment where you store all your coal. This is an early refrigerator. It's called an ice box. Theirs would have been about this big. But they can be as big as the wall. They can be as big as you want them to be. And this is a very small, this is like a college dorm refrigerator. This is something every house has. You put this out to tell the iceman how many pounds of ice you want delivered to your house. Okay, because he's lugging it on his back. He drops it into the top of there and all your food gets down below. Are you all from the area? If you ever go up to Prescott, Arizona on Whiskey Road, there's a place called the Palace. They have an ice box that is literally about the size of this entire wall. You need steps to get up to the top compartments. You can turn around and touch that sink if you'd like. The food is fake, but that sink is original. It was in a garbage heap in 1974, and one of the first construction workers on site saw it and said, that looks like it's from the 1800s. He pulled it out of the trash, and it's the original sink of the house.
Wow.
He matched up the holes. That's how he confirmed it.
Wow.
The original holes were still in the wall.
Very cool.
We do a lot of figuring things out by the holes we find in the walls. It's amazing. It's not a science I'm into, but they know where mantelpieces were. They know where things were attached to where by holes in the walls. Wow. What else can I tell you? This, the Victorian people that lived in the Victorian times decorated everything. This is a butter stamp, to stamp your butter and put flowers on it. When they invent the electric toaster, they'll burn patterns of butterflies and flowers into your toast. Everything gets decorated, everything they can think of to decorate. Behind you is a pie safe that is also decorated. You put your pies and your breads in there. It's very decorative, but it's functional. All of those holes are to let the breads cool down. But it's also punctured from the inside out. Touch those points. Bugs don't want to crawl through there because they'll lose their wings. So bugs don't go in there. How smart is that? Wow. In the corner here, we have a high chair that's like a transformer. I'll be with y'all. This house had them 40 years earlier. So that's amazing. And just real quickly, a pantry. It would have been for her extra silver and stuff, mostly probably food storage. That copper thing on the ground is for juicing and jams, preserves. And the things that look like toilet plungers, I just got who you were. I just totally got who you were. The things that look like toilet plungers aren't. They are agitators because you are the agitator in the early washing. Keep this in place. Oh, we're using a stick tonight. And there's 9 of these doors throughout the house. They go to all the porches, all the balconies. They go to the roof. I hope you enjoyed this.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's what I had just come out of as of right now. Look how massive. They have a basement. They probably do have a basement though.